everybody. I got a really small book haul today. It's only 5 books, but I wanted to clear off some space because coming in September, I'm going to be working on a project where I'm participating in the 30 hours of gaming over 30 days challenge for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I'll be putting a link and stuff down. If you care to donate to the charity, it's a really good cause. Almost exactly a year ago, I had a scare where my doctor said I could possibly have a blood cancer. Luckily I didn't. But, I mean, it was really scary. The second he said the word cancer, is like my brain shut off. That's the only word I could hear. Even though he said, but it could be this, 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 or this as well. He started off with the C word, and you know how that is. Anyway, I was panicking. I was scared to death. And I'm glad that there are groups such as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in case it would have been actually cancer. This camera is just not staying put. Anyway, there will be a donation link if you care to make a donation to the cause. I think it's a good one, and I'm looking forward to doing, if not actual streaming, because I have never streamed before that I can remember anyway. I might have once, but I don't think I have. Maybe I did with Raid Shadow Legends once. But I'm going to be trying to at least make some recordings of gameplay throughout the month and uploading those. So if you start seeing a bunch of random game videos, that's why. I'm trying to set up Twitch, but I don't know if my computer can handle actually doing streaming. It's old. It likes to shut itself off randomly. It tells me hibernating and then locking and turns itself off. I don't even have to be touching it. I was on the other side of the room the other day, turned around, and it popped up hibernating and locking and locked me out. So I had to restart the computer. Yay. Anyway, enough about that for now. I have 5 books, so let's get through them real quick. This one is Ladies' Night by Mary Kay Andrews. I've really enjoyed some of her books, especially the ones that are set in the Savannah area. Since I went to school there, I really kind of gravitate to books about the area because I'm like, I remember that place, or yeah, that sounds familiar, if they mention real locations. So, yeah. This one, take a splash of betrayal, add a few drops of outrage, give a good shake to proper behavior, and take a big sip of a cocktail called Ladies' Night. Grace Stanton's life as a rising media star and beloved lifestyle blogger takes a surprising turn when she catches her husband cheating and torpedoes his pricey sports car straight into the family swimming pool. Good for you, Grace. Grace suddenly finds herself locked out of her palatial home, checking account, and even the blog she has worked so hard to develop in her signature style. Moving in with her widowed mother, who owns and lives above a rundown beach bar called the Sandbox, is less than ideal. So is attending court-mandated weekly divorce recovery therapy sessions with 3 other women and 1 man for whom betrayal seems to be the only commonality. When their divorce coach starts to act suspiciously, they decide to start having their own Wednesday ladies' night sessions at the Sandbox. And the unanticipated bonds that develop lead the members of the group to try to find closure in ways they never imagined. Can Grace figure out a new way home and discover how strong she needs to be to get there? Heartache, humor, and a little bit of mystery come together in a story about life's unpredictable twists and turns. Ladies' Night will have you raising a glass and cheering these characters on. Okay, the author's from Atlanta, which is roughly 4-hour drive from Savannah, so she knows the area. But yeah, I think this sounds like a fun one. Found it at the Little Free Library. I think that's where all of these came from. This one is called The Joy of Spinning which is vastly different than anything else on the list, and it's not for me. I found this one also in the little free library, which was kind of a surprise because I've never seen one like this there before. This is a complete book on hand spinning for the hobbyist and craftsman. How to choose a wheel or restore an old one, how to card and spin wool, flax, mohair, cashmere, alpaca, even the hair of the family poodle. I've heard about that. People will take their dog's hair and spin it into yarn and then knit like a sweater or something out of it. And, you know, I guess over time you accumulate quite a bit of hair, but that just seems kind of bizarre to me. But I guess it's a way to keep a memory. Anyway, how to use natural dyes made of native plants to dye your hand spuns in beautiful colors. Perfect for needlework or weaving. My sister-in-law is interested in this stuff. So when I found the book, I thought, I'll grab that and it'll be like a little extra something at Christmas. Her birthday and Christmas are close together. Her birthday's in December, so it'll either be a birthday or Christmas gift in addition to whatever else happens. This one is called Blue Blood, an Ivy League mystery by Pamela Thomas Graham. Oh, the spinning book is by Marilyn Kluger. I picked this up because it's a mystery. Let's see. For Harvard economics professor Nikki Chase, it starts with a desperate call from her old friend Gary Fox, now a dean at Yale. His wife Amanda has been brutally stabbed to death in inner city New Haven. The police soon arrest one of Amanda's students for the crime, but Nikki's investigation uncovers plenty of potential suspects. There's Max and Jared Fish, bitterly feuding scions of a powerful right-wing family with as much to hide as it has millions to give Yale. High-profile activist Reverend Leroy Saunders had a wealth of philosophical and personal scores to settle with Amanda. And there's Gary himself, poised to become Yale's next president, who was on increasingly acrimonious and very public outs with his wife. As a powder keg of racial tension and political maneuverings threaten to ignite, Nikki draws on the help of old and new friends as she trails the real killer and deadly truths that will reverberate from Yale's Gothic towers through New Haven's toughest streets. I'm having a little trouble reading it because apparently something was stuck on the back and then they peeled it off and there's like little bits of plastic which make it really hard to read, and it's white on gold, which is hard to read anyway. That's why I was struggling to tell you what it's about. Sounds interesting. We'll give it a try at some point. Then I have, let's go with this one. I have Merry Christmas, Alex Cross by James Patterson. I am like 2 books away from this one, and when I saw it, I was like, yeah, let me snatch that one, because I don't think I own this one. All the others I've either picked up through the little free library or at a library book sale. So, and then as I'm reading them, I'm sending them back so that somebody else can enjoy them. Anyway, this is like number, of course they don't tell you in the book, that'd be too easy. Roughly number 19 in the series, I'm guessing. I have it written down somewhere. Actually, I know where it's written down. Just take a second to find it. Where is it? There it is. Number 19. Here we go. Number 19 in the Alex Cross series. This series isn't too terrible. Some of the books are really, really, really excellent. Some of them, I get a little tired of Alex basically being a whore. Man slut. He has a tendency to, whoever the female lead is, he tends to sleep with her. And I don't know. I just, with the number of books that are in that series, because there's probably going on 30 books in the series, and I'm only in the middle of it. It's starting to get old. But now he's where I'm at in the series. Like I said, I'm only like 2 or 3 books away from this one. He's got somebody who he's actually serious about, and he's been with the same woman for a couple books now, and I think they're looking at getting married. So this one, in fact, says at home with his family, and talks about his ex-wife. Okay, for Alex Cross, this white Christmas will soon turn red. It's a snowy Christmas Eve, and Detective Alex Cross is at home celebrating with his family. Nana Mama's pecan pie is in the oven, and the kids are decorating the tree. Then Alex gets a shattering phone call. A nearby family has been taken hostage, and the situation is quickly spiraling out of control. Rushing to the scene, Alex confronts a father who threatens to murder his children and ex-wife. Just as the insanity peaks, a second horrific case explodes, one that could put millions of people at risk. Now facing a red alert of the darkest kind, Alex must make a decision that could end as many lives as it saves, including his own. See, this doesn't mention I can't even think of her name. It's been a little while since I've read one of these. It's been over a year since I've picked up this series. At some point I'm going to pick it back up. Yeah, I don't need to know about past books. My wife took it, smiled, and got up, but she hesitated moving to the dance floor, leaned into me, and said over the pulsing music, "Alex, are you all right?" Apparently he got married. Okay, that's all I wanted to know, is if he finally married the girl or not. And the last but not least is the new enlarged pocket anthology of Robert Frost poems, with an introduction and commentary by Louis Untermeyer. That name sounds familiar. He must do a lot of criticisms. I probably read something when I was doing my English degree. Poetry. I mean, what more can I say? I'm sure it's got the ones I've read previously, such as Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. Let's see here. What else have I read? Snow, I think I've read. Mending Wall is one we had to read in school. I mean, it's kind of nice to break things up with some poetry every so often, and I do like Frost. Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, that's the one most people know. The Road Not Taken. If you haven't read that one, you haven't had an English class in the United States, probably, because I think we all covered at some point. That seems to be one that everybody likes. Nothing Gold Can Stay. If you've ever read the book The Outsiders, the phrase "stay gold" comes from that poem. Apple Picking. Fire and Ice. Maybe that's the one I read and not Snow. Maybe I've read them both. Doing an English degree, you read so many poems you can't remember what you read. Anyway, there's quite a few in here. It's just under 300 pages. 279 pages of poetry, and I really enjoy Frost, so I think this one will be a good one. You know, it's nice because you can pick it up and read a poem or two and then go on to something else, and you don't have to read it cover to cover. You can just kind of pick and choose what you want to feel like reading that night. Anyway, that's the haul, all 5 books. Right now I'm working on reading the Treehouse series, which is kind of a middle grade graphic novel-ish book series. It starts with the 13-story treehouse. That's 26, 39, 52. The next one is 65, which I'm getting ready to read. It's by Andy Griffiths is the writer and Terry Denton's the illustrator. I'll just give you a couple examples. I know I've shown this series before, but I mean, it's a lot of silliness. And I keep showing you pages that are mostly writing. I mean, stories are way silly. The one I read earlier, I think I finished it this morning, was 52-story treehouse. And it was about vegetables that were angry about people eating them. And so they started attacking. And there was kind of a Sleeping Beauty style story woven through it, where their friend Jill pricked her finger on a sharp carrot and it put her to sleep. And all the stuff grew up around her house, and then they had to take her to the castle to be kissed by a prince who happened to be a potato. That kind of stuff. I mean, it was crazy. And there was a caterpillar that kept eating everything in sight. It ate 2 steamrollers, and let's see, it ate a giant bird, 2 steamrollers, 3 rhinoceroses, rhinoceri, 4 of those, those things that with the wavy arms, 5 of something else. It's like, I'm like, did I just open a counting book? And we're counting weird stuff. And then it got to the castle, and it started eating like the vegetables that were guarding the castle, and ate its way through the forest and through the doors, and then it turned into a butterfly. It was bizarre. That's just one book. One of the other books was pirate-based, and it was Captain Woodenhead, because he lost his head, so he had one carved out of wood so they'd have a head. Yeah, it was crazy. And there's a whole backstory with him as a character. It's just a lot of random silliness, and I think middle graders would just absolutely eat this stuff up because it is so silly. I did finish the Bad Guys series up to the current one, so we're just waiting on, I think it's number 15 now, to be printed. I think it's probably, my guess is due out in November, because that seems to be the pattern, like June and November, I think, are the months they normally publish. Loved that series. And still waiting on the movie to come back to me through the library, because I think it looks like it's going to be fun. What else? What's on the shelf? I have Book Lovers I'm going to be reading at some point. I've got a Susan Mallory book called The Boardwalk Bookshop. I've got 2 more of the Kinsey Milhone books, U and V. And then I'll just need to then request W. And then I've got X and Y on the shelf, and now I'll have that series wrapped up. I'm going to finish that this year. I have a book about Columbine, the school shooting thing. I've got one called Birdman by Mo Hader. Some lady at the library recommended it to me. She was looking at, they have a little section of shelves, but like 3 or 4 shelves, I think, maybe 5 shelves of books that they sell through the Friends of the Library in between the book sales. And she had picked up a couple Ruth Ware books. I'm like, oh yeah, I read both of those. I liked those. And we talked about that for a little bit, and then the next time I saw her, she's like, hey, have you ever read Mo Hader? And I'm like, no, never heard of him. Well, apparently they write thriller type books, so I'm going to give that one a try. My Heart is a Chainsaw. I'm halfway through A Snake Falls to Earth by Darcy Little Badger. and I'm liking it. It's a pretty interesting story. I need to just sit down and finish listening to it. What else do I have? I've got one called The Third Rainbow Girl, which is a true crime novel, or a true crime book, about a case that's in West Virginia. Well, since I live so close to West Virginia, I kind of pick up stuff that feels localish. What else do I have? If I look on this pile over here, I have Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I have The Taxidermist's Daughter by Kate Moss. I have Ripper and Portrait of a Killer, which are basically the same book. It's by Patricia Cornwell. One is a newer edition than the other, where she's added more stuff and taken some things out. And I have both editions of it. And at some point, I would like to read them and kind of compare, the things that are different. White Fang. That's that stack of books. So I got lots I want to read. Some of these I know I mentioned in my what I want to read over the summer list, but I've since added a whole bunch. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the Treehouse books left. They're numbered every 13. So you got the 13 story, the 26, the 39, 52. 65, 78, 91, 104, 117, 130, and 143. That's what's out right now. Or at least that's what my library has access to. So, beyond that, that's what I've got lined up. And who knows what other random audiobooks I have borrowed at this point. There's a lot of them. Most of them are going to be the things I've already mentioned from the library. Except these books in that box. But anyway, I just wanted to do a real quick haul so I can clean off a little space next to the computer. And then let you know about the upcoming, in September, there's going to be some gaming content coming. If you're interested in that. Hopefully I'll be able to do a couple streams. Monday, this is some good news for a change. Monday I have to go and get a background check done because I've been offered a job. Yay! Finally! It's with a local group that works with disabled adults. And they were looking for somebody to work with one of their clients. It's something I've never done before, and I'm hoping it's something I enjoy, because, I really need a job, so, I've got that coming up here, and my brother's coming down in a couple weeks. I've got a few projects in the house that need to be worked on, and he's my go-to guy. So he's going to come and visit and hopefully fix a couple things, like my toilet that's leaking and I can't get the water to shut off to it. So I'm constantly mopping water up in the bathroom. Yay. That's so much fun. But hopefully he can... I've got a new toilet sitting here ready to be installed. It's been sitting here for 2 years and I just haven't been able to get anybody to do it. And he's going to come down and help me with that. Because right now I can't afford a plumber, and the plumber even quoted me 2 years ago that $500 to $600 because he was going to repair the floor too, because there's a couple soft spots in the flooring, and I'm like, at this point I just need it to stop. So if what it takes is putting the new one in and not fixing the floor, fine, let's put it in and fix the problem before it gets even worse. So hopefully I'll have a new toilet in 2 weeks. I tell you, if it's not one thing, it's another. It's just insane. So we're working on all that. And that's really all I've got. I haven't really been doing a whole lot. The Tower Team challenge is over, and I've just kind of been not reading as much because I read so intensely over that period of time of a couple months, and I need to get back into it because I'm getting behind on some other things that I need to do, but oh well. And if I start working, then I'm going to have less time for reading, but that's okay too. We'll get through it. And if I don't have anything before, I will see you in September with some gaming stuff. And we'll see. I did finally remember to take the books and put them in the little free library. So my last unhaul is officially unhauled. It's no longer in my house. Yay! I got a couple books I'm trying to decide what I want to do with them. I'm thinking about selling a couple books that were like L-Crate editions. Some of them I haven't even read. Some of them are still in the plastic. But I'm just not interested in them, so I'm trying to decide, do I want to hold on to them and see if I become interested? Do I want to wait and see if my niece wants them? I don't know what kind of stories she likes, so I don't know if she would be interested in that. They're a little older than what she would be reading right now, although she does read above grade level. But she's only going to be 12 in December, so I don't know. Some of these books, I'm not sure that they're quite appropriate. But I'm not entirely sure how I would sell them, should I decide to. I have maybe 15-ish books that I'm looking at as possibilities to sell. And some of them are really nice editions. One of them I have a duplicate copy, so I'd sell one of those. Spin the Dawn I've got 2 copies of. I really liked it. So I'm going to wait and see on that one if my niece might want it. But like, is it Crier's War? I've never read. It's still in the wrapper. I'm not interested in it. So that might be one that comes up for sale at some point. But I don't know at this point, you know, how I would even go about selling them at the moment. It could be something I just donate to the library, although it'd be nice to have the money for it, especially right now when things are tight. I can't see the titles. There's one called Bloodleaf. I don't know anything about it. I've never read it, but it's just sitting there collecting dust. There's one called the Sandcastle something. I can't see what the last word is on the title. There's a glare on it. Sandcastle something or other. It's some kind of fantasy. I've never read it. No interest in it. So, you know, there's some I'm thinking at some point I'll probably either be donating or selling some of these. Because I need the space on my shelf until I can clear out the mess I have on that side of the room and have my brother build my 2 bookshelves for me that are still in the boxes. I can't crawl around on the floor, and to build it, you pretty much have to crawl around on the floor to do it. So until I can get that area cleared out and the 2 bookcases built and put in place, I just have the 1 bookshelf, and in front of it I've got like 5 big bags of books and books piled on top of that, and I've got 4 out of the 6 shelves are filled with books. Can't really get to the 2 bottom shelves. They're already full of other things, like, you know, boxes from Loot Crate and Owl Crate and Unicorn Crate, and when I was still doing unboxings. Right now I just can't afford to do unboxings, but I've still got a lot of the boxes. Most of them still have things in them. But I've got 2 sections of my bookcase filled with that. And my shelves that are filled, the top shelf is just 1 row of books. but it's also the top of the bookcase. And then the 3 that are actually shelves in the bookcase are like double stacked. So, yeah, they're pretty filled. I've got the 5 bags. I've got a box under my table that the computer's sitting on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bins in another bag and 2 boxes of books in here, not counting the ones that are randomly scattered across the bed. I've got several bins of books in the living room. I've got books going all the way up the staircase. I've got books in a room upstairs that used to be in my bedroom before I moved into this one after my dad died. That, I mean, gee whiz. I've got books all over the house. I couldn't tell you what I've got. We have an office space upstairs that is so full right now I can't even get in it. Because when my son cleared out my mom's sewing room to make it into his bedroom, he just took all the stuff out of there and shoved it in the office. So now it's really almost impossible to even open the door to get in there, but I know there's boxes of books there. I think a lot of my vampire books are stuck in that room that I can't get to them at the moment. Yeah. I got boxes in a storage shed outside. Got boxes in the garage. No, I'm not a book hoarder. I'm a book dragon. Yeah, we'll go with that. Books are my treasure, and I hoard it. So I'm wondering how many books I have that are duplicates. At some point, I'm going to go through all this madness once I get things straightened around and cleaned up. And that's not even counting the bookcase that's in the pantry that's completely full of cookbooks. The one bookcase in the living room that is at least 4 shelves worth of cookbooks. Some of these bins are all cookbooks. I know 1, 2... At least 3 of the bins in here and at least 3 of the bins in the other room are all cookbooks. But I collect cookbooks. I like cookbooks. What can I do if it's something I enjoy? I just need to cook more and actually use them and be like, hey, this recipe's worth it. Who's got time? I guess I technically have time, but don't have the money to go out and buy special ingredients to make recipes. I don't know if they're going to be any good or not. Anyway, yeah. But hopefully things will be looking up. I am looking forward to finally getting back out in the workforce. I've been sitting around too long not working. I never thought it would be this hard to find something, especially when everybody's complaining about needing workers and nobody wants to work. We can't find anybody to take these jobs, but when you apply, they don't contact you. It's like if they're truly that desperate to hire, I should have had a job back in January. I mean, seriously. If they were that desperate and needed people that badly, I should have had a job back in January. The only 2 places prior to the one that finally interviewed me, I had my interview Thursday, which yesterday. The only time I heard back from any place, there were 2 different jobs. One was to be a patient registrar at the urgent care, and they wouldn't go through my application until I got my COVID shot. So I went and got that, sent them the proof, and they're like, sorry, that position's full. I'm like, great, so I jumped through all these hoops for you for nothing. But I can apply again and have a better shot because I'm finally vaccinated. The other one was through the University of Rio Grande, basically doing a job that I had already done. But by the time I found out about it and got everything submitted, the next day I got an email saying, sorry, that position's been filled. Even though it was still a fairly new listing on Indeed. So they're not taking their listings down, which makes me apply for things that are no longer positions. But the only 2 I've heard back from were because the positions were full. And then we went through a government, local employment place, Ohio Means Jobs, where they it will help you with things like resumes and the job search and what have you. And they said, go try this inclusions place. I know they're looking for somebody. So my son and I both went in. My son was automatically disqualified because he doesn't drive, and you have to have a driver's license. So he was automatically cut out because of that. But they interviewed me, and they're like, we think you'll be a good fit, even though you're way overqualified for the job. Why do you want to work for us? You could be working somewhere else and making better money. And I'm like, quite honestly, I just need a job. And, yeah, I can be a teacher, but I have to go through and get my licensure redone because I've let it lapse. And, that's going to take time and money that I don't have right now. And, I've been applying places, and I'm not getting any response unless it's, sorry, the job's already been filled. And they're like, well, we'll work with you, we'll take you, we'll train you, get to know. The owner of the company, they get their funding through the government, like the state and everything, but the owner of the company was looking for somebody to fill a shift in his son's house. So I thought, well, okay, I'm willing to give it a shot at least, I don't know if it's something I can see myself doing long term, but it'll give me some experiences, and maybe it'll be something I like, I can still keep my options open. And he says, I really don't want job hoppers, but I can understand if, you get in here and decide it's not for you, or if you get in here and something better comes along where you're going to get, better pay and get benefits, because I can't offer you benefits. But it didn't sound like it would be too bad, because the shift he was talking about is like midnight to 8 a.m., 4 days a week. That doesn't sound too bad. And it's better than nothing at all. I just want to get my head back above water, You feel like you're drowning after a while when you've been off for so long and have no way of accumulating any income. So we're looking at that. I'm also looking into seeing if there's a local program that will help pay for like training or for licensure and things like that. I'm looking at possibly getting licensed to sell insurance. When I was calling Progressive about, the issue about not being able to pay my car insurance this month, and they gave me an extension and things, the girl was telling me, hey, we're always looking for people. You sound like you've got a good voice for doing this kind of work. They'll, right now they don't have any positions open where they'll train you to get your licensure, but if you have your licensure, there's a whole bunch of positions open. It's work from home. They'll provide your computer and everything. All you have to do is have internet access and a way that you can like plug your computer direct into it and not do wireless. Not a problem. I can do that. And, basically if you have a desk and a chair and a way to plug into the internet, you're golden. So, we'll see what happens with that. It sounded like pretty good pay and really good benefits. So I'm looking into possibly doing that. I'm also looking into redoing my sub-license, which that you only have to have a bachelor's degree or higher, and they run a background check and you pay your license fee. So they're going to look into maybe helping me do that, which gives me some options. I'm not sure what subbing pays anymore, but last time I did it, it was $65 a day. But that's been 12 years-ish, 12, 13 years since I've done that. So there, I kind of got away from doing it because I was trying to be a stay-at-home mom for my kid, and then my dad got sick with dementia, and I couldn't leave him here alone. So, I mean, I have a big gap in my employment history. I think that's part of what was holding people back from hiring me. But but they won't talk to you to say, hey, why do you have this gap? Because if they knew why, I think they'd be a little more understanding and sympathetic and be like, oh, it's not because you're lazy, it's because you've had, some major stuff that you had to take care of. But, I don't know. Anyway, I've been babbling on for 40 minutes. I think it's probably time to let y'all go. The only reason I did this video is to show you 5 books and tell you that I'm going to be doing some gaming stuff in September. Anyway, I'm going to put the link in the description for the donations. Should you be interested in at least that part of it, and the usual links that I've been putting and everything. So, in case you're interested in any of that stuff. I mean, no obligations, obviously, but if you feel like you want to make a donation, that's a good way to go about it. It'll probably take you to my Facebook page, I think is where, because that's where the donation thing is set up. So there's that. You want to follow me on Facebook? Is there anything else to tell you offhand? Can't think of anything. Anyway. If you're interested in participating in the 30 days of gaming, it doesn't have to be video games. They will, all you gotta do is log your time. So if you play board games, like if you have a family game night, you can log that time. Board games, card games, video games, mobile games, pretty much if it's a game, it counts. You just count your hours and log it, and I mean, you're not working toward a prize or anything. I think if you get a certain amount in donations, you might get a t-shirt. I'm not worried about that. I just think it's a worthy cause and would like to see people getting involved and supporting it. But there's a ton of people involved in it, and a lot of them are going to be streaming either on Facebook or, maybe Facebook, on YouTube or Twitch. I'm going to attempt to stream. I'm not sure if I've ever done it before, so we'll see. If I can't figure it out, then I'll just do some gameplay and record it and then upload that. You know me, I don't edit stuff, so. I know I'd probably have more subscribers. I think last I looked, we were up to 62. I finally hit that 50 goal, and next thing I knew, we're at like 62 now. So my next goal is 100. So, do all those YouTube-y things. Comment, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell icon to be notified of future uploads, blah, 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 blah. Now, I put maybe on the bell icon thing because, I don't know. I find it odd that when I subscribe to stuff, that stuff no longer shows up in my feed. Why? I subscribe to it. That should be the stuff I'm seeing. But no, they show me all these other related things, which may or may not actually be related. There are a couple things that I get consistently, like the React channel. I just recently subscribed to them because I stumbled across some try not to eat challenges and kind of became obsessed and went down the rabbit hole. So now that shows up constantly. Simon Whistler has a whole slew of different channels. Casual Criminalist, Brain Blaze, Top 10s, etc., etc., Biographics, Geographics. He's got a whole slew of channels. So his stuff shows up pretty consistently because I watch him a lot. But like Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, either they're not putting stuff up, which I can't believe, or they're just not showing up in my feed anymore, and I don't know why, because I was watching them fairly consistently. PewDiePie doesn't even show up in my feed anymore, and he's like one of the biggest YouTubers out there. So I don't know. That's why I say maybe on the notification bell, because you may or may not see my stuff. And anyway, you know what to do. And we will see you next time. We're at 45 minutes. That's more than enough time listening to me yammer on about nothing. So, we'll see you next time.